Hello, good evening, and welcome back. So, humans are, of course, a very social species, although to be more accurate, we're a tribal species. And therefore, whether it's a pandemic like the coronavirus, which is sweeping through various countries, Italy predominantly, in the European nations, although, of course, it is making its way throughout and around Europe and even outwards into America, which is why Mexico is now forming the wall for the United States, as other American countries, whether they're in North or South America, don't want other people coming in who would then infect their populace with the coronavirus. We have a fantastic example here of the Italian people coming together. Yeah, you can't come in contact. Yes, the coronavirus has about a 4.5 meter range, or about a 15 feet range, and it lingers for about 30 meters after you 30 minutes after you have left the premises. Yes, sure, but when it comes to singing from your balconies, when it comes to air displays, when it comes to showing military might and showing your nationalistic colours, Italy here has a fantastic example. As it says from the Daily Mail, Italian Air Force plays Pavarotti singing Nessun Dorma as they put on incredible air display to lift the spirits of their nation during coronavirus lockdown. And you might think this is cheap, this is meaningless, who the hell cares if they show some pretty colours while they have a lockdown? Well, I will let you know that, as unfortunate as it might be for you to hear, humans are inherently emotional. And it just so happens that the reason that females survive cancer at a much higher rate than men is because of their social connections. Yes, it is because of their friendship networks that they survive more so. If humans have a reason to live, then they will live. It is as simple as that. If they feel that they have done all that they can and there is nothing left waiting for them, then they will quietly let themselves go and they will die, which is difficult to understand for young people, but looking at the science and history and the statistics, it makes it abundantly clear that if you have a reason to live, you will live. And once you feel that you have done all that you can in the world, you will die. It is really as simple as that, barring some extenuating circumstances of things which are impossible to survive from, of course. But the human will is incredibly strong. It is unbelievably strong. It is superhuman, really. I mean, surely you've heard of pregnant women or women who have just given birth to children lifting cars up off the ground, which should be unheard of given their strength, but nonetheless they can do it. And it is the same thing here, that there is nothing stronger than the power of a human will, and that is why morale is so unbelievably important. And it is honestly what can make people survive. That you might think, oh well, we should plow into medications so that we can allow people to survive, and we must balance that with a placebo. It's like, yeah, but then you're missing actually the power of the placebo, and that we should harness the power of the placebo and not just concern ourselves about how drugs react to the human body, but should capitalize on how powerful the placebo effect is. But also, given this, we should also understand how powerful it is to raise people's morale and give them a reason to live. And I know that the far left and the fucking communists and the cunts like that won't appreciate patriotism, but for everybody else, we do actually take pride in our country. And the Italians are showing this greatly, and I hope that we can bring this over to the UK as well. By all means, have the Merlin engine of the Spitfires, the Hurricanes, the Lancaster, the Battle of Memorial Flight. Why not have the BOB, the Battle of Britain? Why not have them flying around? Why not have the Red Arrows, the BAE Hawks, showing the red, white and blue of the Union flag, flying around the country? Why not actually remind us to be proud to be British? And if you want to be cynical, then by all means go be so, that the people who don't wish to be British but nonetheless are in Britain won't find any support in that, and therefore will die as they don't have any support, in which case it would just be the Britons that are surviving. But I don't see a bad thing of that, because if you're in Britain, you better like Britain, otherwise why the fuck are you here? If you don't like Britain, pick somewhere else. If you don't like Britain, it is really as simple as that. We're not forcing you to stay here. It isn't a concentration camp. If you want to leave, then leave. So it is fantastic that Italy is doing this. They are showing the national anthem, I believe, Nessun Dorma, as well as showing the national colours of the Italian flag, and that is important. So a flag to most people is meaningless, but in times of need, it's just bloody important, and that is why the raising of the flag, why like Iwo Jima, for example, is such an important picture of the raising of the flag, because a flag is so much more than just a series of colours. That's why the burning of the flag is such a heinous crime, but for some people, a reflection of the freedom of speech that you can actually do that to the symbol that gave you that freedom in the first place, or at least didn't hinder it. And therefore it is such an important thing to show those colours, even just in the UK, red, white and blue, which sounds bloody stupid to say, hey, here are 3 monosyllabic words which mean colours, which mean nothing to most people, but to us are bloody important. And yes, coincidentally, I'm sure we share it with the US of A, but red, white and blue for us it means a great deal, which is obviously stupid to most people, but that's what makes it special, by knowing that we have that inherent connection to 3 colours. At the end of the day, they're just colours. Sure, the red is symbolic of peace, the white is symbolic of purity, and the blue is symbolic of the wider regime that we are owners of, by all means, but simply because most people don't know that it's just 3 colours, but we still feel that intrinsic benefit of, and I think that is vital. And we're a smaller country than Italy, so we can have the red arrows, and if we can't have the hawks, then we can have the gnats, and if we can't have the gnats, then we can have the blades. Anything at all that will spread that message far and wide, to say that the British people are cared of, the British people are thought of, and it is much cheaper than trying to invest more into the NHS with the respiratory problems that we have, and instead boosting the morale, telling us that we're actually thought of, that even though it isn't medical innovation, will still make people feel better, because there is nothing stronger than the human will, the human mind, and that is what you need to get behind. The hearts and minds, as hippie as it sounds because of the Vietnamese War, that is what we need to get behind. That there is nothing stronger than the human will. So we have some fine photos here of the Italian Air Force showing their colours, and as we saw the RAF Centenary flypast just a few years back, with the Typhoons showing 100 and the red arrow showing the red, white and blue, even though the BBC wouldn't wish to admit that it's the Union flag. It is actually what we wish to get behind, the red, white and blue of the Union Jack. And this show by the sea is similar to what would be shown at Bournemouth or Eastbourne. I believe Eastbourne is the largest free air show in the continent of Europe, but it could be Bournemouth. I forget which one exactly, because it's over the sea, because they don't like that since the Shoreham Air Show crash of the Hawker Hunter and Andy Hill. But nonetheless, as we see the green, white, red flag, we see people joining together. We see people with a popular Italian phrase of "andrà tutto bene," which means all will be well. So they share that between each other. They show that they are with each other, even if they can't touch, as they are very tactile people. Even if they can't do that, they believe that they will be able to survive. Andrà tutto bene. Everything will be alright. All will be well. They show that, they share that, they fly there from the balconies. And yes, in the UK, people don't like showing flags from the balconies because they're worried, well, that will show. It's like, well, maybe we're just proud to be British. Maybe we're proud of the country that we reside in. Maybe we actually like where we live. What a bloody thought that is. That actually we like where we are living in. And we wish to share that with the rest of the people that we're living in. Maybe we wish to actually have some nationalist pride. That we are proud of what we have achieved. And you might say, oh, you can't be nationalist because that's far right. Well, for starters, fuck you. But secondly, talk to anybody who you think is far right because they're nationalist. Ask them what they think of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, and I promise you that they will tell you that they were utter cunts, and they were much prouder of Churchill standing up against Hitler and saying, yeah, you want to rule the world? Well, we will fight you on the beaches. We will fight you on years, and if necessary, alone. we will fight you and we will never surrender. They will be so much prouder of Churchill, and they will hate Hitler for those people that you dare to call far right. They will be proud to be British, and they will abhor the Nazis, the National Socialists, the people that you call far right. They will hate those Nazis. So don't you dare try and conflate British patriots with Nazis. The Britons are responsible for defeating the Nazis, so don't you dare try and call British patriots Nazis. We stand for classical liberal values of everybody being their own person, coming together in a community in those times of need, helping out the people who need it, not because of government intervention, but because we are kind-hearted people who want the best for our fellow citizens. That is what the Union flag represents. That is why we want to fly it proudly. That is what the St. George flag means, and why we want prosperity and peace and what's best for each other as an individual, and those freedoms and the liberty that it portrays. It has nothing to do with fucking race. So fuck off. Britain stands for the individual, for coming together by choice of community cohesion, and for being stronger together because we share those common values, which has nothing to do with skin colour. So don't you dare try and suggest that it is racism, because it isn't. It is down to community and sharing common values, which is a spiritual and intellectual pursuit, and nothing to do with the colour of your skin. That is what it means to be British. We might come from anywhere and everywhere in the world, but we share in the common values of freedom, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And yes, of course that is ripping off America, but where the fuck do you think they got it from? Of course they got it from Britain, because that's where they come from. So hey, keep doing what is right. Keep sharing the message of what it means to be British. Fly your Union flag or your St. George's flag loud and clear. Spread the message far and wide that you're proud to be British, you're proud to be English, you're proud to represent what it means to be a proud citizen of this country. And we take pride in all those who have died defending those values, domestically and abroad across the world. And we thank you for your service. And to everybody else who is fighting this coronavirus and trying to keep the morale up and remembering your purpose for being alive and keeping those people around you, that until next time, keep fighting the good fight and have a good one.